Hi, I'm Rick, and this is Ops Halo. I'm a graduate of the public education system in Delaware who volunteered to serve my country right out of high school. And I did so in order to be a veteran of beverage operations and combat aircrew, just not particularly in that same order. I flew hundreds of missions during the first Gulf War, was injured in Somalia, recruited by the wing commander for quality improvement, and then spent um, all my time since the 90s implementing federal information system frameworks for the government. So I got injured, so it makes sense that a worldwide combat military vet would find a mission in the beverage industry, especially in restaurants, hotels, nightclubs, large corporate convention spaces where there's a lot of beverage volume. Over my career, it often felt like the equalizer when one resort company found themselves in a legal jam because they couldn't quite provide any reliable banquet billing. It's a reality that bar operators are stuck in archaic methods of gathering and reporting consumption and cost of sales for a beverage. So guesswork and clipboards and payroll commitments, all long hours of counting and checking and rechecking. Even the use of scales and spreadsheets mean that human error just upends the whole thing. So I took on a survivalist approach to the beverage industry, and I became a beverage operator in the hospitality command. Now, I always found myself in roles where it was almost commando level tactics required in order to keep control of chaotic bar operations, elusive objectives in beverage management, and volatile inventory control. So, survival needs a system. Sometimes there are no good options, so you innovate, adapt, and you overcome. Now, from this process and growing through many organizations and different challenges in beverage management, I realized that the pain is very real in the beverage management industry only because technology has just failed to keep us informed for data that is available, um, uh, or that is there but not readily available to us. So, OpsHalo will be best to serve organizations who operate calculated, meticulous, detailed beverage programs where there are top to bottom exposure of profit and loss, cost of goods, gains and losses, all there in the weekly reports. I often find, though, that the pain for the beverage management operations is best considered as a cause of achievement and the ripple effects of bad information from the pour to the training to consumption tracking to shrinkage analysis and to recipe breakdowns and all the rest of the factors that impact the P&L. So we come to the customer who's stuck making decisions without operational truth and about what it is that is being poured and how. We introduced ourselves to a few people, asking questions like, "How are your bartenders trained? How many hours before they're trusted alone to pour? Walk me through your inventory control processes. Do you feel blind at certain spots in your visibility into your inventory? Have you ever used any poor tracking systems? Did you ever spend any much money? How much? And did it help? Are you still using it?" So I got a chance to ask a few friends this sort of questions, and based on the idea that the objectives in Sprint 5 forced us to decide how to validate pain in an observable field of business, we decided to craft our validation around these three aspects of beverage management in the business model, which have driven my idea from the beginning. To quantify the pain in beverage management imposes, we propose Ops Halo's smart suite of solutions. This includes three aspects, including a smart pour trainer, which is like a bartender on training wheels, a system of spout-mounted sensors that determine what should be in the bottle and how much is left, and a shelf module that tracks the business movement of inventories across a mixed and matched shelf. Now, the range of customer needs is vast, often driven by corporate requirements or, in some cases, the lack of disciplined approaches to beverage management. I've taken time to put my heat maps up for the first wave of interviews. You'll see the guy from Colonial Williamsburg. His name is Travis Brust, and he's the executive food and beverage director for the Colonial Williamsburg Foundation. It's a famous organization for hospitality, and he gave us some time to talk a little bit about his viewpoints on these various aspects of beverage management. This one, the heat map for the Smart Pour Light Pour Trainer. This is a spout that goes on top of a bottle that for every second it's inverted, it vibrates, or for every second it's inverted, it turns to lights, and it's designed to create muscle memory in natural bartending, to use to be in addition to or separate from the use of a jigger as a pour of metric. But we got a chance to meet Mr. Chef Brust, who puts 7 to 9 people into any one of his profit centers to count into the wee hours. It being a horrible part of the job, they still show up like a family to do it. But they are humans stuck doing rudimentary tasks while they could probably be solving employee problems. Again, they count their inventories for beer, wine, liquor each month, and that's reported onto a foundation level accountant. Now, that's how Chef Brust works. I met Miss Bridget Jones at Bonefish Grill, and she's one of the new general managing partners at this particular location, Williamsburg. Now, when they're doing their inventories, they pick up the bottle by the neck and they hold it up to the light between in the window, and they determine if this is a 4.5, or I'm sorry, 1 point or a 0.5. Is it a 0.4? Is it only halfway or maybe just a little above that in order to count their liquor inventories? That usually ends up being into the wee hours, rechecking the numbers to make sure that they are good enough to send up to Miss Corporate. Miss Bernadette, and she said any other managing partner in the company would say, this right here is all we need. After having talked about some of the heat map or some of the inventory. Our third customer's name is Lizzie, and she's a beverage manager at Cahill's Steakhouse. She is the true ops halo in that the only reason she does any of it in beverage management is because she's been there for 15 years and thinks her boss is a great guy. So 3 different kinds of customers, 3 different kinds of data, all of them speak into, in this case, Smart Pour Light Pour Trainer. In this case, the heat map for the Smart Pour system, which incorporates the trainer into a cloud-oriented dashboard system and historical pour data, as well as the solution for the Smart Shelf, which will allow you to track movement of inventory across a mixed matched shelf of inventories in order, again, to avoid the counting problems that come from humans doing it. I'll leave you to look at these. Obviously, frequency and intensity, cost of shrinkage is high. In the high volume areas, people lose thousands and thousands of dollars each week just in beverage that they can't control from the shelf. Maybe it's stolen, maybe it's put into water bottles, maybe it's overpoured, maybe it's served to the kitchen, but that cost of shrinkage hurts. That leads into a high cost of goods sold, which could be in the high fig. There's lots of money in this thing. So cost of labor for counting the data, poor or incomplete bar training, negative reporting to accounting, billing disputes. They're all identify patterns in the high frequency, high intensity range of damage. There are a couple leap of faith assumptions. We assume that the cost savings and having the use of beverage inventory support, decision support will be enough to justify the cost of purchase. We also feel it's possible, like, will beverage operators make better management decisions because they have access to this real-time inventory? And any single aspect of Ops Halo Smart Pour system would lead to operators holding much more of a must-have status for this kind of beverage automation. Now, that leads you to this point. This has been my path through customer discovery in class one up here through. This is um, this is sprint number 6, and I'm still asking myself, okay, so now that we're here, what kind of questions will help me better learn faster, better? I don't know which order those words should be in, but I want to learn faster, better. And so that becomes kind of an outcome. Now, when I spoke to Frank, I asked him, I said, based on all this information, this is what I have. His answer was to persevere. I've cleared the hurdle. Should continue talking to my people. Now, Frank said there's a pain point score of 8 of 10, and a reachability score of 7 of 10, based on the data you see here in this mix. Looking forward to seeing what class number 2 is bringing. The risk management part interests me. Uh, Thanks for listening.